Right. Hi, Year 10s. Hope you're all well. Our topic today is prayer. And kind of given the nature of this subject, I decided not to wear a hat for this one, but instead have brought with me a couple of little things that I found in the house, a little praying figure. So that's here. And then perhaps slightly unusual. I think this is a present from my brother from one of his travels, but a large pair of praying hands. Okay, so that's to accompany us on this uh, short video today. Prayer is a fundamental part of all religions, and we've seen, of course, Buddhists also value meditation too. And during this last 6 weeks, the number of times that the word prayer is being Googled has rocketed, which is perhaps not surprising. I think people are resorting to spirituality in order to help deal with these circumstances. And I wonder, what are your initial thoughts about prayer? For many of you, it may not be part of your life at all. It may seem a rather strange action, and perhaps our understanding is fairly basic. Maybe that it's kind of some sort of talking to God, but actually prayer can be more than just words. It can be about silence. It can be about using not just words, but actions and body as well. And my hope is that you kind of get a little bit of a deep understanding from this work. So to do that, what I'd like you to do is read your textbook, page 38. Have a look at the revision book, page 29. But fundamentally, I'd like you to look at this link that I've set up. I'll just show you what that is. It's in the Edmodo file, and there are various people here who are interviewed. This is John Sentamu, the retiring Archbishop of York, who's from Uganda originally. This lady here is Reverend Rose Hudson Wilkin, who is the first black female bishop in Britain. And there are various couple of other people here as well. I also think this man here, who is a Roman Catholic monk, is worth listening to. You don't need to worry about the last one. Can do if you want to. Have a listen to some of these interviews so you get a bit of an idea about what is. Sorry, to go back through this. What is prayer? Okay, and in your books, write down some ideas, but try and bring in some points from the interviews, and hopefully you'll pick up that prayer is not just a one-way communication from human to God, but it is perhaps more about the individual human trying to understand God more, trying to understand or discern God's will in their belief for themselves and for others. Okay, so it's more about actually giving up the self rather than focusing on the self. I think that's the key bit I want you to focus on and pick up. Okay, and also you'll get from their interviews, why do Christians pray? Why is it important? And this I'd like you to just put this in a mind map in your book, similar to perhaps page 29 in the revision book, but use perhaps some of the ideas from the interviews as well. So that's the first task. Okay. I'm sure you're aware that there are sort of aids to prayer, and the most perhaps common ones are on the right, the rosary beads used by particularly Catholics, and on the left, the icons used by Orthodox Christians. These are literally seen as windows into heaven, and they kind of contain the kind of the spiritual qualities of the person they portray. And both of these are engaging the senses and more of the whole person and helping them in that task of prayer. Okay, so the other thing you need to know is the different types of prayer. There are informal prayers. The textbook will explain what that is, and set prayers. And perhaps the best example of that is the Lord's Prayer. Okay, I'd like you to answer that question and explain, giving examples of the difference between those two. And to help you, I've just put there, think about the context. Think about a particular context or situation when a Christian might use the Lord's Prayer or might use an informal prayer. Okay, and think, why might they prefer that type of prayer? You know, what's the advantage of that? Okay. Again, you'll find some help in the textbook for that. Okay. Oops, I was going to hold back there. I was going to ask. I wonder how many of you would know the Lord's Prayer, can perhaps remember it. Maybe this is something part of your primary education, or maybe perhaps some other experience. But anyway, here are the words. And really, the other main task I want you to do is look at the textbook. It's page 39, and give two reasons why the Lord's Prayer is important to Christians. All right, and I've highlighted in red two kind of particular lines you might pick up on. All right, so it's the actual words there you need. All right, and then the final task is applying argumentative skills to prayer. So much of what you've done so far is just really writing down and understanding. This is more evaluation, I guess. I have got an article here, and again I've put that in the Edmodo, and I'd like you just to read this. It's really written for me as a teacher, but it kind of is explaining what I want you to do. And if you look on the left hand side, it gives you instructions. On the right hand side, there are some starters that you might use for this exercise. Okay, and there's some examples further down here that you can look at. And really what I want you to do is create one of these. Okay, and I think 6 boxes will be fine. Do that in your exercise book. And I've tried to explain what it is I want you to do. All right, so you'll see here your task is to develop a chain of argument between two people. So you're going to write down 1 point in the first box, and it might be an objection to prayer, or something critical of prayer. Maybe something you thought of as you were listening to those interviews. How would you perhaps challenge those people? And then in the other box, perhaps how might the theist respond? Okay, and then the debate continues on the next kind of line, next row, where you continue again the theist trying to defend their argument, going a bit deeper, and perhaps the atheist counter arguing again. All right. So I want you to have a go at writing an argument between two people about really the purpose, the value of prayer. Okay, that's it. You've done well this week. Thanks for all your work sent in. I've got a lot of marking to catch up on, and I will get on with that tomorrow for you. Okay. Thank you now. See you soon.